Do you remember the thrill of spotting a favourite product on the supermarket shelf and popping it straight into your trolley? These items were part of everyday life, little comforts that defined a generation. From quirky tinned meals to jars and boxes that held a special place in the kitchen cupboard, many of these staples quietly disappeared over the decades, leaving only memories behind. In this video, we'll take a trip back to the Britain of the 1950s through the 1980s, revisiting 15 beloved products that have vanished from our shops. And if you remember what you see, then do like and subscribe to our channel. Now stay tuned, because one of these vanished items was unlike anything else you could find in the shop. Remember that striped paper tube that rattled in your pocket as you darted into the corner shop after school? Spangles were those colourful boiled sweets, creamy, hard candies shaped like rounded squares, with a little dimple on each face, from Mars Limited, first appearing in 1950 when sweet rationing still lingered. You only needed one ration token for them, while most other sweets demanded two, making them a lunchtime luxury that tasted twice as sweet. They came in vibrant fruit flavours like strawberry, lemon, orange, blackcurrant, pineapple, lime, and legendary special editions such as the Old English Pack, licorice, pear drop, aniseed, mint humbugs, treacle, and even mysteries with secret fruit blends. In the 1970s, the wrappers turned groovy, bell-bottom fonts and neon hues that made every shop counter feel a bit more alive. Sales faded and Spangles disappeared from shop shelves in the 1980s, though they briefly returned in 1995 at Woolworths for nostalgic fans. Think back to that cheery rustle when you popped a roll of Toffo into your pocket, those individually wrapped, flat-topped toffees that were chewy, smooth, and always just right. These little treats were first produced in 1964 and were named Toffo Luxe. Later, they were rebranded simply as Toffo in 1975, making them a staple in school bags and sweet jars across the UK. Each roll held around a dozen toffees in flavours like classic toffee, mint, strawberry, chocolate, rum and butter, blackcurrant, and, for the bold among us, banana. You had to suck for a moment before biting in, and that slow melt-in-the-mouth chew made them feel luxurious, especially when fondly shared with mates or tucked into your lunchbox. The adverts were just as memorable, set in wild Western-style scenes in New Mexico, with a macho slogan, "A man's gotta chew what a man's gotta chew." Sadly, Toffo was discontinued in the UK in 2008 under Nestle, although a small reintroduction in a 19-gram tube made in the UAE surfaced around 2020. Yet unless you're in the Middle East, finding a genuine original roll today is pure nostalgia. Imagine stepping into a small-town shop back in the late 1940s and spotting a purple-wrapped treat beckoning at the counter, the Polly Waffle. Born in 1947 in Melbourne via Hoadley's Chocolates, it was a lovely chocolate-coated wafer tube filled with fluffy marshmallow, crunchy and luxurious, all in one Wikipedia. Over the years, it passed through Rowntree Macintosh and later ended up with Nestle, who sadly discontinued it in November 2009 due to poor sales after 62 beloved years. In 2019, devoted fans rejoiced when South Australia's Robin Men's secured the rights to bring it back. After overcoming pandemic-related delays, the relaunch finally happened in April 2024, not as the original bar, but a clever new Polly Waffle Bites, bite-sized spheres of vanilla marshmallow, wafer and chocolate, launched across Coles, Woolworths and independent outlets. Remember the yellow packets of Opal Fruits, those soft cube-shaped fruit chews that practically made your mouth water? Launched by Mars in the UK around 1959 to 1960, Opal Fruits came in vibrant flavours: lemon, lime, orange and strawberry, each piece offering a chewy, fruity burst that felt both modern and utterly irresistible. The branding was bright, fun and undeniably British, striking just the right nostalgic chord for lunchboxes, corner shops and journeys home from school. In 1998, the name was quietly changed to Starburst to align with the global brand, a move that left many fans feeling a pinch of loss, even though the flavours themselves remained largely the same. Thankfully, nostalgia won out a few times. Opal Fruits made limited edition comebacks in 2008 and again in 2021 and 2024, each release selling out and stirring memories of childhood glee. Back in the 1980s, sweet shops weren't just places to grab a sugar rush. They were treasure troves, and few treasures shone brighter than He-Man jellies. With their bold colours and chunky shapes, each sweet carried the face of a character from Masters of the Universe, making them feel more like collectibles than mere sweets. Children would line up with their pocket money, eager to unwrap a Skeletor or He-Man, as if the fate of Eternia itself depended on it. The jellies themselves were chewy and bursting with fruity flavour, a little firmer than standard jelly sweets, and their aroma was instantly recognisable the moment you opened the wrapper. They vanished quietly before the 2000s, leaving fans mourning their absence. One Shropshire collector even stumbled upon an unopened packet 3 decades later, a sugary relic from a lost era. If you grew up in the 1980s or 90s, you'll likely remember shuffling through the crisp aisle, only to pause at those quirky little snack packets shaped like flaky rectangles, Burton's fish and chips. Despite not being made of fish, these mini-baked biscuits came seasoned in that unmistakable salt and vinegar tang, capturing the very essence of a seaside chip shop treat in just a few crunchy bites. Textured like sturdy biscuits rather than potato crisps, they were each bite-sized but packed with flavour, a perfect grab for lunchboxes or after-school munching. Redditors still fondly recall them as crisps in spirit, even though they are baked, not fried. Luckily, despite vanishing from mainstream UK supermarkets for a while, fans of that distinct seaside taste weren't forgotten. There was something delightfully old school about spotting those Mattessons spreads, those chunky sausage-shaped tubes of a pâté or cheese neatly displayed in the chilled aisle alongside sliced meats. Their foil wrappers were cleverly designed for easy slicing across the length, making it effortless to spread onto toast or crack open for a sandwich. It was a tactile experience. How you twisted the lid, rolled it forward, and cut off perfect slices with a table knife every time. Mattessons, a beloved British brand founded in 1947, introduced these chubs in 1966, becoming one of the first pre-packed spreads in the UK. Their TV ads in the early 1980s were equally unforgettable. Choir boys crooning the brand's slogan, "Try saying Mattessons without saying mmm," as they passed chubs around. Sadly, by the late 1980s, these crafty tubes had largely vanished from supermarket counters, replaced by more conventional packaged meats and newer sandwich fillers. Yet for those who grew up in that era, there's a nostalgic pull to that compact, savoury snack, creamily rich, effortlessly sliced, and wrapped up in a memory-laden ritual. Close your eyes and you might still picture that familiar green and yellow tube adorned with fresh fruit motifs. Polo Fruits, the fruity cousins of the classic mint with a hole. Launched in 1954 by Rowntrees, they offered a vibrant selection of hard fruit-flavoured sweets like strawberry, blackcurrant, orange, lemon, and lime, each echoing seaside holidays and tin lunchbox trade. Unlike their minty counterpart, Polo Fruits carried that comforting, flavoured sweetness that became a staple of school lunches and penny favourite treats. Reddit threads brim with fond memories. Many say they were lush, a milky lemon taste that stuck in the memory as vividly as the sweet itself. Despite over 7 decades of popularity, Nestle discontinued them in December 2023, citing lower popularity within their product range. For those who once popped one into their mouths while queuing outside Woolworths or riding the bus home, Polo Fruits were a fruity time capsule, quietly whisking us back to our younger days with every chew. For many, the joy of the corner shop wasn't just choosing a bar of chocolate, it was in discovering something a little different from the rest. That's where Cadbury's Bar 6 came in. Instead of a simple block, this slim treat broke into 6 neat fingers, each filled with a smooth hazelnut cream and light, crisp wafer, all wrapped in Cadbury's signature milk chocolate. It had a touch of sophistication, almost like the well-behaved cousin of a Kit Kat, but with a richer, nuttier taste that set it apart. Introduced in the 1960s and popular through the 1970s, Bar 6 was part of the rhythm of daily life. You'd spot it gleaming from vending machines at swimming pools, bus stations, or tucked on the shelf in a newsagent beside the Curly Wurly and Aztec. Its distinctive foil wrapper made it stand out, and many recall it as a slightly more grown-up choice. By the mid-1980s, however, it quietly vanished, leaving behind only memories of 6 perfect bites savoured on chilly platforms or after a Saturday swim. There was something quietly magical about the Caramac bar, its shining golden packaging, its sweet, dairy-rich aroma, and that creamy, caramel-flavoured taste that seemed to melt right into your memory. Introduced by Mattessons in 1959, Caramac wasn't technically a chocolate. It contained no cocoa, but instead offered a buttery smoothness that felt indulgent and distinctive. For decades, it was a constant on British sweet shop shelves, launching in Norwich before production shifted to Fordon in Newcastle in the mid-1990s. Fans remember those nostalgic moments when tearing open the wrapper, each square a perfect balance of sweet richness and that gentle, familiar melt. But in November 2023, after 64 years, Nestle confirmed they were discontinuing Caramac, citing steadily declining sales and a need to focus on stronger performing brands, a decision that caused uproar among lifelong fans and even bakeries who'd used it for eclairs. The reaction was heartfelt, with nostalgic pleas flooding social media and treasured bars being stockpiled by some. Imagine stepping into a grotty London newsagent in the early 1950s and spotting a chocolate wafer bar called Banjo gleaming in its wrapper. Thin, light, and remarkably like a Kit Kat, with layers of wafer and chocolate, filling all coated in milk chocolate. It was a fleeting delight, often only found around Greater London, and unfortunately vanished from shelves by 1954. 2 decades on, Banjo made a memorable return in 1976, this time reinvented as a twin-finger bar. Picture something like a drifter, crisp wafer, a layer of chopped peanuts, and nutty cream, all enveloped in milk chocolate. Packaged in navy blue with bold yellow writing, it was one of the first UK bars to feature a heat-sealed wrapper rather than the usual fold, making it feel particularly modern. A coconut variant in red packaging was also available for the adventurous. Banjo clung on through the late 1970s and into the 1980s until it quietly disappeared once again. Even today, sweet tooth nostalgia lingers. There's a dedicated petition beseeching its return, proof that some flavours truly stay with us. Back then, few sweets felt as posh or grown up as Campino, those delightful yogurt and fruit chocks that managed to be both creamy and refreshingly tangy. Produced by Germany's August Stork since 1966, they first appeared in the UK in the late 90s and became the go-to treat for tea time or post-school pick-me-ups. The cult favourite strawberry flavour was joined later by summer fruits mixes, raspberry, blackcurrant, peach, and a trio of cherry, peach, and the classic strawberry by 2007. Stopping at one was nearly impossible. These hard candies were both rich and vividly fruity, a rare combo that made them fondly remembered in corners of nostalgia-filled forums. Sadly, despite their popularity, Stork discontinued Campino in the UK in November 2023, attributing the decision to declining sales. There was a time when convenience in a tin was the height of modern living, And nothing summed that up better than Heinz toast toppers. These little cans were the unsung heroes of the 1970s and 80s, offering a quick fix for hungry families when a proper meal wasn't on the cards. Pop open a tin, spread the creamy filling over bread, grill for a few minutes, and you had an instant supper that felt far more indulgent than its humble price tag suggested. Flavours like ham and cheese, chicken and mushroom and bacon became household staples, especially for students, busy parents, or anyone after an easy comfort bite. The gooey, bubbling topping against crisp toast gave them a charm that has never quite been replaced. By 2015, Heinz discontinued the line, citing changes in eating habits, though tins now fetch silly prices online as collector's items. Social media petitions still beg for their return, proving just how deep this quirky little snack burrowed into British hearts. If you grew up in the 70s or 80s, you'll probably remember the little bags of Quavers potato puffs sitting by the till in your local store. Introduced in 1968 by Smith's in Lincoln, they later became a Walker's staple after the 1997 acquisition. Their name comes from the musical note quaver, and their shape mimics that playful, curled rhythm perfectly. Crafted not from sliced potatoes but from potato starch dough, Quavers puff up in hot oil into those iconic spirals, making them feel more like crispy air than chips. The original flavours, cheese and smoky bacon, set the tone, with prawn cocktail and salt and vinegar joining the lineup by the early 1990s. Despite a wave of new flavours, BBQ sauce in 2023 and even a cheeky red Leicester in 2025, some classics like salt and vinegar have quietly vanished again, prompting groans of nostalgia from longtime fans. For many, Quavers are a whisper of school trips, bent silver foil packets, and afternoons spent crunching curly curls with unbounded joy. There was something quietly charming about the Clancy Bar. No flashy wrapper or brash branding, just a neat dark chocolate-coated wafer with a ribbon of jam hidden inside. First produced by Australia's Hoadley's Chocolates around 1956, it was named after the classic poem Clancy of the Overflow. In a touch of nostalgic flair, Hoadley's even sponsored radio recitations of the poem to promote their new creation. The bar offered a delicate balance of textures with the gentle crunch of wafer, the sticky sweetness of jam, all enveloped in smooth dark chocolate. Despite its popularity, especially in Australian sweet cabinets of the 1950s and 60s, the Clancy Bar didn't survive the sale of Hoadley's to Rowntree Mackintosh in 1972, and later Nestle in 1988. Production quietly stopped, though the exact date remains undocumented. And that's it for today's trip down memory lane. Give it a like if you remembered some of these awesome products, and don't forget to subscribe for more information and nostalgia. See you next time.